All right, welcome back to Cloud9 on ACT and The Voice. Joining me on set at this time, my good friend, Mr. Shiraz Khan, President of the Sheep and Goat Farmers Association. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great.
You know, when you come here, I just had to try and ask for extra time. But anyhow, let's move. Let's start first off with the recent flooding, and then we'll get to our topic about the whole diversification. In terms of your interaction with farmers and so forth since the flooding in Greenville and other areas, how are farmers coping with their losses?
Well, let me say again, thank you for inviting me, and a pleasant afternoon to all your viewers and your listeners. As usual, it's always from a long time ago, always a pleasure coming and meeting with you, and thanks for highlighting the issue of farmers.
No problem.
But before we go into the actual flooding, I have posted it up on Facebook, and I make no bones of saying it and continue to say it. When a country ignores God's law, the people that is involved in a country and running a country, and ignores God's law, especially something as the act of the homosexual bill and gay rights bill and so on. And people may vex with what I'm going to say, but I am saying that when this thing came into being, we started feeling the wrath of God Almighty. It started off with an earthquake. I joined the march in Port of Spain and was totally upset with it. I was there. I continue to say in Islam that the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly states that even anal sex among husband and wife is forbidden. Right? There's a number of people that you had on your show and your station shows with Dr. I think it's Michelle from Jamaica, and she was very clear. I heard you with doctors condemning that, and we are seeing God wrath onto the country.
And I think deep down, and I'm glad you started there. I mean, I know we have lots to discuss, but I think deep down, even those who want to fight that argument, I think deep down they're asking themselves, what really happened here?
What went wrong?
What went wrong? Because even with all this scientific explanations, there are some things that's just not adding up.
Yes.
And I just leave people to their
No,
own
but we have to say it, because if I had to die for saying that, so be it. But the truth is out there that everyone could see. And I am saying, because I posted it up about 2 or 3 weeks ago on Facebook, that once you thank God that he didn't treat us like Sodom and Gomorrah for more devastation. Thank God.
Yet, if we don't turn
well, the thing about it is that
it's a warning, eh?
It's a warning.
It's a warning.
The only thing I didn't do was cry on the day with that earthquake, because none of us have felt something like that before. Then we had, just imagine, just since the flood, 9 earthquakes. 9 earthquakes, and all of them in the range of 4, 3.9, 4.1, and why can't we understand that there's a God, and you cannot put in your national anthem and in your singing your national anthem about God bless our country, bless our nation. You can't have all these. So what are all these churches doing? We can't only be looking to collect donation. We can't only be looking to buy new cars and build bigger churches, and our surroundings are being destroyed because we ignoring his laws.
I think the wake-up call is to everyone, whether it be church, whether it be church leaders.
I am saying, but it have to come, the knowledge has to be coming from the churches, the mosque and the temples. It have to come from there, because you are the leaders for a congregation, you are a leader in a community, in a society, and you have people listening to you. And we have to be very bold about it. I make no qualms about what I am saying here today. I say it before, I say it and I will continue to say it, is that we are paying the price for disobeying God's law.
And as I say, who have ears to hear will hear.
And who don't.
And we have some itching ears.
Well, I do my part. Yeah. I will continue to stand up for what I believe in. I will continue to say, hey, friends, people, let us look at what we are doing.
Agreed.
And don't let other societies encourage what our society is known to be doing, which is worshiping God, praying, and the old saying, which I don't support, that if we are saying God is a Trinity, why he allowed this to happen to us? Why?
The funny thing about that, if God is a Trinity, then therefore there's certain things he would not want in his life.
Right.
So what do you think is going to happen?
Right. So the thing about it is, let us put this saying into practice, and let us try to overturn what has gone wrong and hope that he could continue to bless us with better days.
Amen. Thanks a lot for that introduction. And it was needed because we cannot ignore that spiritual fact. And I think everybody, not everybody, but majority are aware that God is sending a message. Those who choose to remain ignorant to the fact, well, what the Bible says about foolish people and wisdom, I'll leave it there for now. Right.
Right.
So let's get
No, you need to see these things because, you know, if you serve a good God, that you need to show his power and what he can do, because in all our lives, we always get tests. And when we get tests, we must wake up. Because all of us get tests. All of us. But our test wasn't like that one, what some people get. Right? And if you think Greenville was a disaster, my brothers, citizens, take another look. Go to Sandy Grande. Go to Madras. Go to St. Helena. Go to Caroni Settlement. Right? Go to Las Lomas.
These are strong farming areas. Tell us what you experience across these areas.
The market said it all over the last 2 weekends. I went to the farmers market. I don't go to the regional markets. And my brother, he didn't see tomato. I could say tomato because down on this side. If I was up there, I would have said tomato. But down here, we didn't have no tomato. Some places had it on the roadside. It was $18 a pound. Melangin sell for like $15 a pound. But just before this flood was selling like 2 pounds for $5. You understand? Sweet pepper was something I didn't see. You understand? A limited amount of okra that prior to the floods they were getting like 25 okras for $5. Today is 5 for $10. 5 for $5. You know, I think a lot of people, especially with the people who celebrated Diwali, the Hindus, they would have faced a difficult markets. And farming did, but the unfortunate thing about that is that we heard that soon as the flood take place, people would sense that they were going to have this problem, and I understand containers of foreign goods came in within a matter of days and placed on our markets. And it's unfortunate that the very first thing that people look to take out of disaster is profits, right? And I keep saying on a number of frequencies that I urge the Ministry of Agriculture, not the minister is doing his job, the Ministry of Agriculture.
Are you okay with what his performance thus far, in all honesty?
Well, with his limited...
They'll be working in certain parameters.
We continue to talk, and I think he's given it a best shot in some areas, but I don't think he could be more effective than he is without a strong policy coming from the cabinet aspect of things, and sometimes I think in a very difficult situation with the Prime Minister having an agricultural advisor operating out of the Prime Minister's office, and not working with him directly, but working Dr. Allen. Dr. Allen. And I know he probably can't do or say much as he wants because he's in a cabinet, because if you crack there, you know, you could get thrown very easy. But coming back to the flooding thing, we have some farmers, and people say, there was this guy, a fellow farmer in Arang South, Sheldon. The man had to swim out with his dogs. First time, he lived there, he suffered some flooding, and he couldn't go back there until last week, Wednesday, because they were still under flood.
Right.
And there were people that up to now cannot go back onto their lands because the land is still waterlogged, because since that the rain hasn't eased up a bit in any great fashion at all. In fact, we was expecting over the weekend some serious flooding. but it didn't happen because it was forecast to have.
Yeah, that was last week, but it wasn't as bad.
But it wasn't as bad as it is.
Got some flood next.
Well, yesterday, Shiraz also, all they were showing the people running in the immigrants running across the line, the border line. People in that area was flooded out. People some people in the penal area was flooded out. I understand St. Augustine, all these areas was flooded out, and them kind of things. So it continued to happen, and we continue to play the political game of blaming people. Last government is, and they will continue to do that until they get rid of both of them. You understand? They will continue to blame each other while we, the ordinary citizens, suffer.
Let me ask a question. And I'm reading from this article today about farmers to get high-tech training. I'm just read a couple of lines, and then I'll tell you where I'm going with this.
High-tech?
To get high-tech training, right? Let me read it. Hold on. Over the next 3 months, some 39 local farmers will be exposed to ways they can merge technology and their agricultural enterprises. They'll be participating in the 9th edition of the annual Atlantic University of Trinidad and Tobago National Agricultural Enterprise Training Program. According to a news release from Atlantic, this year's cohort is made up of experienced and novice agri-entrepreneurs with enterprises in livestock, food and root crops, apiculture, aquaculture, and hydroponics. Right? They're from areas across the country, including Point Fortin, Sandy Grande, and Tobago. I'll go lower down. Technology innovation play an important role in helping countries become more sustainable in the area of agriculture. Now, here's my question to you. Years ago, when you were one of my, several appearances on my show back then at WIN, we spoke about, now there isn't really much you can do when it comes to nature. If the flood come, right? However, I remember on one occasion we had a conversation about technology and farming, and if the introduction of technology would help mitigate some of the losses farmers experience, or even actually provide even better crops. Because I know it wasn't this minister, it was the former minister was making the point of trying to assist farmers in being up to the times then as it comes to farming and the latest innovation techniques and so forth. How do you respond to that in terms of this particular training here? And do you believe that it's, I know it's also very costly, but how can we address this whole issue of technology and farming?
Sheldon, a lot of farmers have gone with new technology. A lot of farmers, because I'll tell you something, farmers are very innovative people. I know some farmers do things that not even the ministry are close to understanding it, right? Probably at the university. And I'm a bit disappointed. I think the university needs to be a little more farmer friendly, a little more.
As in UTT or as in
both of them, right?
But isn't this showing a bit user friendly?
Well, the thing about it is that you will do that 9 times so far, right? But what has the outlook of agriculture done? How did we reduce? For 9 years, you have been training 39 people or less or more.
All right, okay.
Right? But your food import will continue to increase. You continue to have low production, right? You have farmers, because thank God for just as how you're using your internet. If the farmer don't know what a mouse is, he might say that a rat, right? But his children, because most people will educate their children,
right,
and the children will assist them in understanding. I know there's a guy, in fact, I learned to put on the blinders on the layers so that they won't lay a chicken, so that they won't pick the egg, because I bought it. I didn't know how to, didn't say a direction. I went and Googled it right there, and I see how to put in the glasses so that the hens wouldn't burst the eggs, the layers, right? A little thing that's coming on the nose like pin, and we saw that. We could have tried it on our own and we'll get through, but we was fortunate that I Googled it and I saw that. There were times when I had problems with my animals, couldn't get a vet. We Googled it. We talked to a farmer in Australia, faster than a local vet.
Wow.
You understand? And he probably had the same problem, because once you put up a problem on the certain sites in the thing, people will advise you, because I'll tell you something, the village has now become smaller, the farming community has become smaller, because you have a problem and you put it up. People all over the world respond to it. But sometimes we don't even get our own ministry people to respond here because they don't know. because they're not looking at, because they want farmers to use modern technology and up-to-date technology, but they are not growing.
As years now,
Yeah, but they're not growing because my documents, they still have a big file, walking around with a big file and how to write everything and so on. So we want the farmers, but I will tell you something. Some of our farmers have done a lot more than even probably the ministry will think. I credit my own self for doing some of that in terms of my upgrade and my breeding. And when you milk an animal and you're getting a gallon of milk when you were getting just half a gallon some time ago, you tap yourself, boy, sure, there's nobody tell you you're doing good work, you know, and you go ahead. And you have other farmers who are doing the same thing, increasing their genetic stock without being mechanically or genetically modernized organism, GMOs, using GMOs to achieve benefits. We continue to do that. I have a vegetable a root crop farmer in the exchange area. When all these people were killing out he started trying concoction after concoction and came up with one and solved this problem. Nobody recognized him for doing that. The ministry know that he did that, right? And they brought people
implemented in other.
Yeah, but what happened? We brought somebody from somewhere. We went and bring down somebody. I think it was I think Avinash Singh did it. They brought somebody down from the university in the States to come and deal with that. We have people right here in our country getting more production out of a citrus tree to match Belize and Suriname and all of these people. But you don't hear people talking about those good things.
All right, so let's know from that now, we hinge it now to the issue with Petrochino as we were talking during the break.
So quick. Well, no, let me just mention something to you.
The right path.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, so what happening is that we have a number of farmers. Sheldon, and I know the minister is working on a number. In fact, myself have gotten my documents going towards the lease after 26 years. So I know he's doing a lot of work on that area. But again, the minister is only the minister. You have a number of people in the Ministry of Agriculture now, UTT, University, UWE that is, right? You have people in Kariri, FAO, IECA. Look, check how much organization you have. But agriculture still remains the bastard child of the society.
We saw it in the budget again.
We saw it in the budget in the quantity of money that they give us. We saw it in that we have a number of people coming out of the university to train in veterinary science and agriculture in some form of degree and so on. But what is seen different for you as a non-farmer? I see it every day. What is seen being done differently in agriculture with all of these people? We know each other for about 15 or more since in Gael days, right?
That's right.
Right? What have you seen different as a non-farmer that depend on farming for your livelihood, except people keep complaining? Which farmer you talk to outside of on television or anywhere else, and they'll tell you, boy, you see me, that man talking nonsense, I doing well. Yes, we do well in our own sphere. I promote my goat milk. I will continue to boast about my goat milk better than Viagra. I will continue to say that how I have the best goat meat because a fisherman does say fish rotten. So we will continue to do that because what we're trying to do is to develop our markets, niche markets, and hope that we could continue to grow. But you talking about diversity coming down the path. Our Prime Minister is saying about the economical scale, and we have one farmer in foreign farmer, whole farm might be big like Trinidad and Tobago. We're not saying we want to compete with those people to export. There are a number of things that we can be self-sufficient in. I'm not saying we can be totally 100.
Yeah,
Pulses, we could never compete with that. But we could compete with bodi and peas. Right? We could compete with that to provide for our people bodi and peas. Kariri have developed a machine to shell peas and package peas and so on. We could do these things. So don't tell me about the farmer with the big land and we don't have. I could challenge anybody to take them throughout this country. I'm not going deep south. I'm talking from San Fernando to Shoguanas and show them there's enough land that we can provide enough vegetables, right, to feed this country and even export. You understand? We could do that, Sheldon. We don't need to go into planting 100 acres of split peas or chana. We're not going to go there. We'll leave that for the export market. We're not going to grow wheat, right? But we can grow enough cassava. We can grow things, because if you can recall where I got some popularity in 2007, where we presented documents to Patrick Manning at that time.
Remember that?
And it was agreed that that is the way to go. But from 2007 now, then to now, what has happened? Those projects, all those talk go down the drain, because every time you have a new minister, a new government, everybody take you back to the drawing board. We have no continuity from one project to the other.
So there seems to be a lack of strategic planning in many of what you have.
But you can't say that to the ministry, because them have strategic planners down the line, you know.
Now, the question I was asking at the start of the show, and that's the theme of the show today, is basically, are the tables turning, or are we playing musical chairs when it comes to farming?
Continue to play musical chairs.
Why? Why? The thing is, yeah, and I'm saying, and I mean, I know what your answer is going to be, but we need to drill this point home, because the evidence and the writing is on the wall. We have to invest. Now, again, that's why I'm saying this is the whole collaboration here with UTT and so forth, the train and so forth. But to me, this is a drop in the bucket. Now, a drop in the bucket fills the bucket eventually.
But how long will it take?
Well, how long is this bucket
What size is the bucket?
Because I've been hearing this has been filling for about, as you say, since 2007, right?
No, before that.
Before that, I mean, in the context
15
of
years ago.
when you had presented,
Yeah.
and you, like many others, would have presented the way forward for farming from that day onward, right? And I would have been at win in that year. So every year, you would have been either on my program or Judy or somebody on another station. That's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at from 2007 to now, and
nothing.
Not much.
But the thing about
what
it
are
is
we
that
missing? What are we not getting?
Again, and I know I tell you this before, but I have to say it because we're here now, because people will be hearing it for this.
No problem.
If you take a hat, I don't even talk about a box or anything, because if you take a hat and you go around to farmers, I doubt you'll make $100,000 to any election campaign. I doubt you could make $100,000 if you go around to farmers with cap in hand. But the massive $8 billion food import bill, which transfers to over $24 billion in business, of course, you had to walk with a truck. You can't walk with no cap there. So it is all come down to financing. That is I may be wrong, prove me wrong, but if you are treating your farmers like this, no. I was upset with the late Patrick Manning when we were treated. I thought that because we live in upward. But when the UNC came into power, we were treated worse. And now we are treated worse.
What's that?
Yeah, well, I had to get a word beside worse. You know? Children, don't take that word. That is my word, please. Parents, tell your children that is not a dictionary word. That is dialect. But what you have happening is that if we continue to treat our farmers as we're treating our farmers, one day to come, may God forbid that day ever reach. Because what happening is that you look at the video I sent you this morning.
Yes, I saw part. I think
you see where other countries in Great Germany, people are closing down their farms.
Yeah, and for those who can take a look at it on his page, I can't really title the video, but it's really interesting that these major countries.
Please visit my farm, my page. Visit my page and make a comment in a positive way. It's about Germany, Europe.
Big, massive dairy farms have to close down.
And what they are doing to the other so-called third world countries and so on. And it's unfortunate that we are in that position, but they didn't mention Trinidad and the Caribbean. That is exactly what they are doing. That imported goods are throwing the small man out of business, right? And them kind of thing. But they did it from Germany to Africa, right? So we are in the same position, and this is going on for a number of years. But Sheldon, one of the critical things for all of us in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, it is important of one, And I want, if there's anything, we should understand this point. Eating healthy is the #1 thing to having good health. Eating fresh, healthy produce is about the most important thing you could do for yourself.
Right.
Rather than cheap, unhealthy stuff, purchased from somewhere, we don't know how long it was there and how it was prepared. Why can't we start doing something and make a change in our way of doing things? Let us get involved. In every community, it has farming.
That's true.
In
At least
every
now.
community, it has people who doing farming. You, if you are not a farmer, you're a star boy on the scene.
I could farm.
Right? No, I said, but the thing is, you're a star boy, otherwise. So what you need to do is to go around to your fellow farmers in your community and get 1 or 2 of your friends. Hey man, look, we want some tomato down here, right? We want some cucumbers, but we don't want to set a chemical. We want you to be a little more, we buying whatever you have. And
Support each other,
support them so that he could give you something healthy for you and your family. Right? So you could eat healthy, because let me tell you something. We will continue to build hospitals. We will continue to be out of drugs. And we continue to be out of beds. And if we were to produce some healthy food, starting with yourself, you could encourage a farmer to do better. You can watch him because you're living in the community with him. Right? You can go to him and tell him, well, look, we want some Karaili. You know what's Karaili, right?
Yes, I do. Sir.
Okay, most people may not know what that is.
I like Karaili and
right?
fish and things.
Right. Hey, dribbling, boy.
Talking about.
Right. So you go there and you tell him, well, look, we don't want this set of chemical. Okay, if you're growing seasoning and so on, we don't want that. And I think every household should not be purchasing seasoning. I am saying every household, even if you had to grow it in a bucket in a gallery, should have a little, what we call pudina or Spanish thyme, big leaf thyme, a little tushy celery tree, you know, a little something. And get the joy of picking one of those, right? Even a kale plant, you could put that, get a paint bucket, but the punji holes to the bottom. Punji holes about 3 inches from the bottom of the.
Take some notes.
Right? Punch about 3 inches from the bottom of the container on the side, so that it will always keep some moisture. So when they put it to the bottom, it just run out.
Oh.
So the plant, you won't have to be watering 3-4 times a day, and grow a little something and get the joy of picking your own shadow benny. Right? No, I believe that nobody should be buying too much of seasoning. Right? Because if you get one of the pudina, the Spanish thyme, and you plant that, you can't eat all that. Right. Because that grows. You have to be breaking out constantly to give to a neighbor or a friend. We need to take care of our health.
I agree.
And your station promotes a lot about health. Right? We need to take care of how we could do things differently. And government would not do that for us. Eh?
And funny, we have an increase every couple of months of fast food outlets, but a decrease in farming.
Right, but the thing about it is that, and you know, there was a survey done, and they said 98% of Trinidad and Tobago eats out. So we don't have the good family enjoyment. I could remember when I was growing up, if I could just take a minute to just sidetrack.
We have about 2 minutes.
We used to sit down. We didn't have a table and chair like when we were growing up. We were poor. We used to make a little bench and sit down. But one of the things my mother always used to say, on Sunday, we just say, but if it's only on Sunday, we say chicken. And you have to sit down as a family. Today, that Sunday is by KFC and all the other places. Sorry about that, the chicken outlets and them and so on, right?
Outlets, yes.
Right. But you see, so our family has lost that love and link. So when we put it into other people's hands, we have a deterioration in family life.
Efficiency.
So if you have a little plant growing in the thing, and you said, James or Sammy, or hey, Rajan, or go and throw a little water in the thing. Or if you don't want to wet up the gallery, take some cubes of ice and put it around it so the water it will go gradually down. And we could do that, so it could create bonding in family. It could create a different type of thing, because because the society is deteriorating, because family life is deteriorating. Right? So if we do a couple things like that, we could start to create a different sort of environment.
But this is when, as we kind of running out of time, this is where educational awareness programs like these must be taken to schools and to communities.
But we promoted that. When we went to Mr. Imber first budget presentation, he said that he loved that. We tell him about every school supposed to have a kitchen garden, bring back that. In fact, when I was leaving the meeting, the permanent secretary run me down the corridor. So Mr. Khan, how should we, I said, put it as the Prime Minister Award, like how it was many years ago when I grew up with it, right?
So all that is in writing.
If you go back to the budget of in agriculture section under the 2015-16 budget, you will see it written there. And national exhibition. So when you're telling me about you're doing things and simple things, and I volunteer to give them the entire design for the exhibition, without any cost, right? I will do it because I have it there, I have it here, and have it here. But we need to look at doing things a little different, Sheldon.
You got to push pause until next time you come, which is when.
Oh my brother, it was always a pleasure. Time does be so, time does always be so short on us. But I want to leave this. I am begging people out there. Please start a plan something. If you don't know how to do it, feel free to go on my page, contact me, and let us, and I will assist you in starting to plant a couple of things.
I appreciate that.
Right?
Man.
So
Mr.
take care.
Khan, always a pleasure. This has been Club 9 on ACT and The Voice. I am Sheldon. I'll be back next week with some plans to teach us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
We go work on that.
Yes.
All right.
And I'll bring a little goat to show to collect the little manual and put it into place.
Too?
Yeah, a little kitty.
We go work something.
No, the green, they won't need this.
All right. Take care.